Course: Pollution and Health. Module 2, Next Generation Hospital. Lesson 2.1, Hospital of the Future and Territorial Healthcare Network. Good morning to everyone. The title of my presentation is Next Generation Hospital, and in particular, we go to discover the hospital of the future and the relation between the territorial care network. So, I'm Stefano Carpolongo. I'm the head of the Department of Architecture, Built Environment and Construction Engineering in Politecnico di Milano, and I'm the scientific coordinator of the Design and Health Lab. The vision of the Design and Health Lab is to study the relation between the built environment and health to create the innovative healthcare facility capable of promoting well-being and sustainability, and then we want to develop the tool to evaluate the quality of the build and the urban environment and support decision makers in a strategic choice. The main mission of the laboratory is to work in 3 different directions. The first is urban health. Urban health is a really big and important topic nowadays because 56% of the population live in the urban area, and the provision in 2050 moreover 70% of the population live in the urban area. The second topic of the Design and Health Lab is healthy building, is the capacity of the building to produce well-being and health. In particular in this topic, we studied indoor air quality, and we studied a tool for measuring the capacity of the space to produce inclusion, and one really important tool is Include, for promoting the design for all-inclusive design. And then the third main topic in the Design and Health Lab is hospital design. So, the big challenge nowadays, and in particular after the COVID in this particular socio-economic and political situation, is the hospital design, and we want to understand very well the next generation hospital. We want to study the hospital of the future and the relation between the territorial healthcare infrastructure. So, the theoretical background is really important for understand the hospital of the future and is necessary to understand in the history. The hospital change, the typology because change the different instance in particular social instance, for example epidemiological instance, economic instance, digitalization and environmental aspect, and in the history the typology change because change the society. For example, the first case study is really important. That first hospital in Europe was the Cagranda designed in Filarete in Milano in 1456. A really innovative structure, where started the history of the hospital and arrived to define the new hospital of the future. Why do we want to understand the new hospital? Because we know nowadays the life cycle of the hospital is 40 or 50 years, and in this time, we know we spent 10 or 20 years designing and constructing the new hospital, and then the other problem is moreover 50% of the European hospital cannot host the current organizational models. The other important consideration is the evolution of the care facility, in particular in the scientific approach to medicine. We know that in the next 10 years the knowledge and the diagnosis method as well as therapy and prevention care activities will change more than 80%. And then we know the evolution of medicine has changed because in the past, we dedicate more space for the traditional treatment in medicine. But nowadays the new trend is predictive medicine. During the COVID our groups have to rethink the hospital of the future, and we have to define the decalogue of the design strategy for resilient hospitals, and in particular, we have to define the criteria for rethinking the hospital, and the main performance is dedicated to the resilience and flexibility of the hospital. Because during the COVID I want to remember the old hospitals have been transformed into COVID hospitals, and to realize these changes the hospitals developed a strategy composed of 2 phases, design phase and operation phase. Thank you for your attention.